Yes, guys, welcome back to the United Stand. I'm Sanders Seegers. Someone get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a paracetamol because he's got a transfer headache. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Manchester United's lack of movement within the transfer window so far. It's not promising, but there is still time left, and so hopefully we can get some deals done as we progress through the weeks. It is worrying, isn't it? It is worrying. We haven't seen any movement really so far. Obviously, Alexis Sanchez has left to Inter Milan, but he wasn't really our player anyway, was he? Chris Smalling is still up in the air. Obviously, the man that we've talked about so much so far. Jadon Sancho is a deal that we really want to get sorted as soon as possible. Not necessarily over the line, although that is what most Manchester United fans hope. It's a deal that we want to get sorted as soon as possible because there's been so many reports that have come out about Jadon Sancho and Manchester United's strategy in regard to that transfer, in regards to Manchester United won't do any other business than Jadon Sancho until that transfer is over the line. That is worrying, isn't it? Because transfers take so long to do that if you're not going to be doing any business other than Jadon Sancho until Jadon Sancho is sorted, that is worrying because, you know, the October the 5th deadline is the transfer window deadline. But by the time that comes around, if we do go that long, which we can do, then we would have already played 3 games, Crystal Palace, Brighton and Spurs. And they're, 9 crucial points. And so if we haven't got things sorted very soon, then I'd be very worried. We've got 4 weeks until till we start playing football. 4 weeks until we start playing football. We've not done anything. We've gotten rid of one player who's already on loan, and we haven't brought in anyone. And we all said that when we finished last season, we needed reinforcements. I actually said it when Bruno signed. The video actually never went out, but I remember standing outside Old Trafford for the United Stand and going, listen, Bruno Fernandes is a fantastic signing. He'll be great for Manchester United. Little did I know how good he would be. But I remember saying, we don't stop here. We do not stop here. Glazers, the board of Manchester United, don't stop. Act like a big club. You've acted like a big club in the Bruno Fernandes signing. Go on, kick on, and sign Jadon Sancho. Sign your left back. Sign your central midfielder. That's what big clubs need to do, and that's what we've seen Chelsea, Manchester City, not Arsenal. They've made signings so far, and we haven't done anything. Chelsea have signed, it looks like they're going to sign Havertz, Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech. Despite, signing strikers isn't necessarily the best way to fix a dodgy defence, those are still very, very good strikers and forward players that they've brought in and are now able to bed in, kick on, and are ready to go for the season. Manchester United, let's say we get Jadon Sancho over the line in 2 weeks' time, then we move on to other deals. We've still then only got 2 weeks until we start playing football. That's them, to bed in. They've got to move countries, bed in with the squad, understand Solskjaer's way of playing. All these things take time. And if we're going to leave the transfers for, 2 weeks and before we start playing and kicking off the Premier League, that's dodgy to me. But I hope you guys are all well in the comments. We love about these live shows is your interaction with myself, Mark and Flex. How's everyone doing? Why is everyone so hateful? Just leave. Just leave if you don't like him. That's it. We're all about positivity here on the channel, so we do appreciate all you guys supporting. We've got a super chat that says, you're settling into this role perfectly. Don't listen to the haters. Great job, mate. And try and keep a level head, fella. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate, first of all, your super chat, but second of all, the support is greatly appreciated. Daniel Tarrant says, yes, Sanders, my guy. Again, thank you so much for the super chat. We really do appreciate it. But yes, Solskjaer's transfer headache, it has been a headache for Solskjaer so far. It's been a headache for Manchester United fans so far. Apparently, it's been a whole headache for Joel Glazer. Joel Glazer is apparently the reason that the Sancho deal hasn't gone over the line yet. He's apparently been the man to halt the deal. You can sign Tom Brady, an aging quarterback, for your other team, but you can't sign Jadon Sancho for Manchester United. Now, I understand the 120 million value on Jadon Sancho post-COVID is extortionate. However, if we've got the money, we go and get him. At least sort it out. At least go, we don't have the money, we're not signing you, we're moving on. Or go, we do have the money, we'll pay it, right? It's this whole limbo situation that irritates people, and irritates me, to be honest, and it's not beneficial to the club. Moving on from Jadon Sancho, it's not just about ins, is it, at Manchester United? You know, we don't only need players to come into the club, but we don't need to sign players. We need to get rid of players too. And that's something that I don't think we've done enough of yet. There's rumours of Diogo Dalot going, which I think would be a great thing, considering the fact that we might be getting another fullback in. Stay tuned for that. But Diogo Dalot, you know, on him, he hasn't done well at Manchester United so far, has he? And listen, I'd get rid. You know, we've got rid of Alexis Sanchez. Apparently, Chris Smalling's willing to force the move through. You know, we've got so many Phil Jones, players like that. Get rid, hurry up, let's do some business, because it was a fantastic finish to the season, wasn't it? It was a well, maybe not, maybe it was a little bit of a letdown, but I was referring us getting top 4. Getting top 4 was fantastic, and top 3 even. That was great, but I said it in our fan cams, it's what we it's about what we go and do now, going forward. We need to go and build on whatever success third in the semi-finals of the Europa League is. You know, Solskjaer, if he doesn't get signings and doesn't get rid of too many players, he's going into next season with 2 hands tied behind his back. It's a big season for him anyway, because if we do go on and sort of just stay still, stagnant, don't improve, that's going to be dangerous, isn't it? Because you could see him get the sack. But you know, if you're not doing that, if you're doing that with no signings, you really are doing it with 2 hands tied behind your back. We do apologise if there's any sort of fluctuation in the in the sort of quality of the video so far. We've got some more super chats. It says, don't underestimate Filip Stefanovic. 12 million euros could be a decent deal in time. Of course, Stefanovic is a signing 12 million, I think it's euros, we signed him for from Partizan Belgrade. That is a deal that has gone over the line. We've had that done for a little while now, although he has gone back on loan to Partizan Belgrade, and so we won't have him for a little while. Let's see. You know, we don't want to say he's the next Ronaldo, although he might be. But you never know. You never know. We've got another super chat here from Chandler Stewart. He says, hey, mate. I get to all the talk about who we need to bring in and who needs to go in order to strengthen the squad. But in your opinion, who is actually good enough in the current squad to win the title? I think that's an absolutely fantastic comment. I really like that comment. I think, well, talking about David De Gea, let's see if we can do this. A little bit of this. Hang on, a bit of that. Talking about David De Gea, this man here, Dean Henderson, is back at Manchester United. And, you know, there's rumours that he signed a new contract. He was seen at Carrington this morning. And so that is a very interesting situation that's going to be playing out over the next couple of weeks. Apparently, Villa are in for him on loan, which, again, is interesting. I'm not sure why he would have left Sheffield United if he was going to come back and then go straight back out on loan. Surely, if he was going to be on loan, you'd stay at Sheffield United. It doesn't make much sense to do anything else than that. But we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. But I was going to say, in reference to your super chat, mate, David De Gea is one. I think Harry Maguire is one. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is one. Or rather one that can definitely go on to be good enough. Whether he is that now, I'm not sure. But he'll definitely go on to be good enough, I think. Bruno Fernandes is one. Paul Pogba is one. Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood. These are all players that I think could be good enough, if not are already good enough, to win the league for Manchester United. But again, first of all, you can't play the same team week in, week out, as we saw to the latter stages of last season, because firstly, there's no competition for places, and secondly, you burn out big time, right? And secondly, they might not be ready now. Mason Greenwood, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, they're good. They're very, very good at the moment, but they're only going to get better, and I think their peak is when we'll look to win the league, and I think this planning got into that as well with Manchester United. You don't have to look to win the league next season. You can look at maybe Manchester City and Liverpool and predict their downfall maybe a little bit and plan your uprising in time with their downfall. So I think the young squad that we do have at the moment at Manchester United is very positive. Let me get to your super chats, guys. We're getting so many, and we really do appreciate it. He says, Sander, this is from Muzzy Leons. He says, Sander, you're a legend. Keep up the good work. Do you think we will still be here in 2 weeks with no signings? Thank you for your super chat as well, pal. Very interesting question. Very, very interesting question. Do I think we'll still be here in 2 weeks with no signings? Because it's looking that way at the moment, isn't it? Although, let's see, I've messed up the order a little bit, but oh, no, we don't want to be talking about him. That's what we want to be talking about. Although Di Marzio has come out and said that we've made a concrete offer for Gabriel today. Literally, it came out about a couple of minutes ago, 20 minutes or so, before I went live. Apparently, Manchester United have made a concrete bid for Gabriel today. And obviously, he's done fantastic at Lille this season. Well, last season, we all thought that Arsenal had pipped us to him. Napoli may be in for him as well. No doubt in that he's a good player. But apparently we've made a concrete bid. And so is that a player that you guys would like to see get over the line within the next 2 weeks? I'm sure the answer to that question is yes. But get Sancho as well. And I think, absolutely Sancho is a deal that needs to be sorted. Emphasis on sorted. Done, I'd like it. Sorted, it needs to happen. Because there's been, as I said, rumours that Manchester United won't do any other business until that Jadon Sancho deal is sorted. And now if that's in 2 weeks' time, you're starting negotiations 2 weeks before we kick off. That's mental. That's absolutely mental. That cannot happen. Manchester United need to get that deal sorted. Rumours coming out again that Jadon Sancho is willing to stay at Dortmund for an extra season. Apparently, he said that to his colleagues, his players around him at Dortmund. If Manchester United don't come in with a €120 million, I think it is, offer. And if that is the case, Jadon Sancho is not going to push for a deal. We, Manchester United, think that Dortmund are probably bluffing. And if that is the case, Dortmund are going to go bluffing for a long time, which means that this deal's going to drag on and on and on. You don't sort of relinquish your bluff 4 weeks before, the deadline. You relinquish your bluff a week before your deadline. Do you know what I mean? You pack that in when it looks like things are about to crack. And so if that is the case, lads, we're not going to have anyone sign in a couple of days. Happy birthday to Ihab. We do want to say that. We've got a great sense of community here on the United Stand. So a big happy birthday to him. I'm flooded with super chats, so we'll get reading them. Streaming with Alex says, I fear that our club is heading into Newcastle territory. I already don't rate Ole, but who can win with these owners? Very depressing, but great to see your positivity. Keep it up for us pessimists. We really do appreciate that. Listen, Ole's a good manager. He absolutely is a good manager. The Glazers, they aren't good owners, right? We all know that. However, we have won the league under the Glazers with a very good manager. I'm not saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is Sir Alex Ferguson level, but it is possible, first of all. Ed Woodward wasn't there. It was David Gill. But regardless, I agree with you, though. The Glazers aren't good enough. They need to go and invest, and it's mental to me. You look at the project that we've got going at Manchester United at the moment, and you think no-brainer. Well, most of us think no-brainer. You think, invest in that squad. There's a nucleus there that can go on and win the league. It's young, it's talented, it's driven, it's British for a lot of it, which counts for something. The fact that you're playing for a British team, there might be more passion there. But also, it's just a no-brainer at the moment. So the fact that we haven't seen that yet is absurd. However, listen, there's still 6 weeks left of the transfer window, 4 weeks until we kick off in the Premier League. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. There still is time, but the fact that we haven't done it yet is worrying. And the fact that teams around us have done so is also worrying, isn't it? You look at Manchester City, made a couple of good signings. Chelsea, listen, they've got to improve their defence. That was the issue. But they've gone, and secured some very, very talented forwards in Ziyech, Werner, and potentially Havertz as well, who is looking like he wants to force a move out of Bayer Leverkusen, which Sancho isn't willing to do. At Dortmund and Arsenal have not done anything. Spurs, nah. Liverpool, nah, not really. So, there's a couple of teams around us that have done well so far in the transfer market. But the most important thing is that we need to strengthen. That's the most important thing, isn't it? And so if we don't, I think we're in some real trouble. Another member of the United Stand Members Club, thank you so much for subscribing and joining in that sense. We really do appreciate it. That's Chris Grathwahol. Fantastic. At least it's not my Mike Oxmells. Loz Collins has contributed with a super chat and said, did you not hear that Joel Glazer put a block on the Sancho deal? Yeah, we have talked about that. Joel Glazer apparently being the reason as for why that Sancho deal isn't happening. And listen, as Manchester United fans, we hope that if everyone else is in on it and it's only Joel Glazer, obviously he's top dog, but hopefully the pressure from everyone else's sort of contribution in the club means that Joel Glazer will eventually give in. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that guy, the Glazers in general, haven't been fantastic for Manchester United so far, have they? And so, listen, we'll have to wait and see with that. Fixture released. The fixtures have been released, of course. And as I spoke about a little bit before, if we go to the transfer deadline day on October the 5th, we will have already played 3 games, and that's with a postponement on the Burnley game. So we would have played Palace, we would have played Brighton, and we would have played Spurs. That Spurs game is a big game, and that's that's on my birthday, actually, October the 3rd. And so if we don't get everyone in then, then you're worried. And also, if you don't get anyone in a week before that, you're worried because, a week before that, have you got a couple of days to settle into the squad? That's not good enough, is it? Listen, in regards to the fixtures, I think we've got a tricky December period, and that's usually when you need to really go and kick on. We've got Wolves' last game of the season. I haven't got them up, but this is off the top of the dome. Remembered it all. Wolves' last game of the season, which is tricky. But other than that, listen, you've got to play everyone twice. When you play them, you never know. You might look at a clustered sort of period for Manchester United where I can't quite exactly remember, but let's say you've got City, Liverpool and Leeds. No, not Leeds. Let's say you've got City, Liverpool and, Spurs, 3 games in a row. We don't, but let's say you do, or have something along those lines. On paper, at the moment, you look at that and go, oh, that's scary. But you never know. You might not know how things work out. Those teams might get injuries at the time. You might hit some great form at the time, which you might not have later in the season or earlier. So it really all just does depend on how things go throughout the season. And, you never know. Let's move on to a couple of these other slides. David Brooks, you did see him a little bit earlier because I messed up the order of the slides, but he's apparently an alternative, or rather... yeah, an alternative to Jadon Sancho. Listen, if it's David Brooks and Jadon Sancho, I wouldn't be worrying about it. 40 million's a lot of money. That's apparently the rumoured fee that you're going to have to pay for David Brooks. But if it is just David Brooks and no Jadon Sancho, little bit worried about that one, because the guy's 23, been injured all season, 9 appearances, 1 goal. Talent, yeah, of course. You're playing for a Premier League club, mate, and, you're sought after. Injured all season, that's a huge risk. But also, 1 goal, 9 appearances, again, isn't good enough. And, this is what we want to be doing at Manchester United. We want to be signing the top players across Europe. And is David Brooks one of them? Don't think so. Super Chats, let's get to them. Listen, I've got so many talking points to talk about, as you often do with talking points. But you guys are flooding me with super chats, so I really have to read them because that is so important. Zane says, Sanders, thank you. See you at the Fortress Emirates. Gabriel, Willian incoming. Oh, let's all be scared about Willian. Do you know what I mean? Oh, that's scary. A 47-year-old Willian. Oh, Jesus. I mean, if you get Gabriel, fair enough. By the way, thank you for your contribution. We really do appreciate it. You're an Arsenal fan, so hopefully you can take the banter. But, as I said, let's all be scared of a 47-year-old Willian. Another super chat from Barry. Thank you, Barry McCanna. Honestly, you think it would be better to use Sancho money to improve in more areas around the pitch, then go for a big player? What do you guys think of that? That's a very good comment. What do you guys think of that? 120 million is a lot of money. We all know that, right? Would you rather... I feel like I'm at some sort of teenage party. Would you rather, do you know what I mean? House party, do you remember that? Great time. Spin the bottle. We loved it. Would you rather, right, spend 120 million on Jadon Sancho and no one else, or divvy it up, have a little whip round, divvy it up, 120 million, maybe a left back, maybe a centre back, a central midfielder, something like that. What do you guys reckon? I want to know. As far as I'm concerned, can we just not buy Jadon Sancho and then just buy other people as well? Do you know what I mean? That would be ideal. Apparently, I saw on Twitter, so how true it is, I'm not sure, but apparently Solskjaer, if we do sign Sancho, that's the only marquee signing we'll get. And apparently, we'll need to find like a Daniel James type signing, not in position, but in fee, for other areas, which is worrying. I mean, that is worrying. We don't want to see £15 million players coming in as well as Sancho. I would rather divvy it up. But there is also an argument that this is the only time potentially that you're going to get Jadon Sancho unrivaled. And even though 120 million euros is a lot of money, I don't see Sancho getting any cheaper. Do you? I mean, I don't. So why would he be cheaper next season than this season? Unless he really comes to the end of his contract. I think he's got a 3-year contract left. Why would he be cheaper? So go and get him now. If you want Jadon Sancho, you go get him now because you're uncompeted for. He's not got anyone else going in for him, and he's just going to get more expensive, isn't he? David Parker says, Tampa Bay in the tank, lowest attend in NFL, Brady and Gronk big dollar, Glazer debt close to junk bond status. Thanks, David, for your contribution. We're a football chat, so maybe not NFL. But it is relevant, the fact that, the Glazers have invested in, Tom Brady as the quarterback over there. He's about to hit retirement, and they've spent big bones on him. So why can't you spend big bones at Manchester United, Mr. Glazer? Zane says, Sander, you have 50-year-old Matic in midfield. Yeah, but the thing is, Zane, see, Zane's a good lad because he's contributing and he's watching and he loves it. He loves it. Zane can take it. He said we've got a 50-year-old Matic, but you don't see Scott McTominay. You don't see Freshinho. Do you know what I mean? We've got them. Who've you got? Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Although, if we could strengthen that sort of central defensive midfielder position, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? I do think he's got a point, to be fair. Matic is fantastic, great player, fantastic towards the latter stages of last season, and I'm really looking forward to how he can contribute to the season and to the team next season. However, he cannot play, at the rate that he was last season, and so we definitely need to reinforce that area. McTominay, up in the air. What do you guys think of him? Fred, I think he played very well the other night against Seville. I like him as a player, so maybe he could be the sort of rotation player with Matic for that central defensive midfielder position. Another super chat. Thank you so much. He says, Sander man, hope you're well. Loving the words per minute. Love that. He's been counting like that on a little ticker like that. Yeah. Also, we need to get class off the bench like Bayern. Not Brooks. We need class now. Interesting point. When people talk about needing reinforcements for the bench, that's true. I think you don't go and sign someone to replace Anthony Martial. You don't go and sign someone to replace Harry Maguire or Luke Shaw. They might end up replacing them. They might do. But they've got to be players that are on the same level as those current players, if not better. You don't go, listen, we need reinforcements and squad depth, so we'll sign, retirement players, Zane, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like Willian. You don't just go and sign David Brooks. You go and sign Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish isn't necessarily a worse player than Bruno Fernandes. Maybe that's a little bit up in the air. Bruno's probably better than him. But what I'm saying is, there's not far off. Bruno can have a dip in form. Jack Grealish comes in and he'll do equally as well. You sign Jack Grealish, he'll come in on the bench, but you sign him to create competition. Do you know what I mean? So you don't go and sign, I agree with you, you don't go and sign bench quality players to go sit on the bench. Messi Lingard 14, another contribution says, keep Messi Lingard or Cristiano Pereira. That's on outs, of course. We do want to be talking about the outs at Manchester United as well as the ins. And what did you call him? Cristiano Pereira or Messi Lingard? Who would I rather keep? I'd rather keep Jesse Lingard, because he can do all that and, all the dancing. No, I'm joking. But he can, I think he's probably more of an asset to Manchester United than Andreas Pereira. I like him, his pressing off the ball. Let's put it this way. Lingard on the ball offers nothing. Andreas Pereira on the ball offers nothing. Jesse Lingard off the ball offers pressing. Andreas Pereira off the ball, limp. Do you know what I mean? So I'd keep Jesse Lingard, and he can sort of be, as I said, doing all the dancing with the young players. Anyone think it's weird that Jesse Lingard, like, every time there's a young player that comes into the squad, Jesse Lingard's all over him. Do you know what I mean? Like a fly on shit. Do you know what I mean? Whereas he's 28, so I find it a bit strange. But, 28 and 19-year-olds can be friends. Muzzy Leon's another contribution, unbelievable, says, Sander, should Ollie go to Sir Alex if his demands are falling on deaf ears with the Glazers for Sir Alex to have a word behind closed doors? What you're saying is you're almost implying that Sir Alex's word at Manchester United could have more weight than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, when I think, despite that might be true, and it should be true, but I think there should be no more important word at Manchester United than the manager of it. And so, if Solskjaer says to Glazers, listen, that the signings that we've got, i.e. none, isn't good enough, help me out. And if those aren't listened to, so Alex Ferguson isn't going to do anything anyway. Let's move on to a couple of slides. As I said, Dean Henderson, that is a really interesting development. He has potentially signed a new contract for Manchester United, left the Blades, Sheffield United. They've brought in Aaron Ramsdale. Villa apparently want him on loan. What's going on? What do you guys think? Can you please get in the comments? What do you guys think of Dean Henderson? I personally think that David De Gea doesn't necessarily fit the style of play that the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to play at Manchester United. I think over the last couple of years, David De Gea's distribution hasn't been good enough, although he has been a great shot stopper, despite that being a question as well over the last couple of years. But I think Dean Henderson might have the ability to potentially play it out from the back slightly more, and if he does come in and does stay at Manchester United, I don't think he comes in to play the same role as Sergio Romero. I think he comes in to play the role of, listen, De Gea, if you make the same mistakes as you did last season, i.e. Watford, Chelsea, all these other games, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to put me in that position and you're going to have to fight for my position. Do you know what I mean? I think it will be rotated quite easily if David De Gea makes a mistake. So if that is the case, I don't mind him coming in and sitting on the bench for a little while. But if not, if he is going to play that Sergio Romero role and just play in the cups, then I wouldn't be keen on that at all. What are you guys saying in the comments? If Romero stays, Dean Henderson goes on loan to a good club to get in Euros squad next season. That's interesting. Yeah, very good comment there. Dean Henderson will be absolutely pressing for that Euro squad, obviously for next season, as you said. I just think it's interesting because apparently Villa are in for him. But if you're going to go on loan, if you're going to stay on loan, why wouldn't you stay at Sheffield United? Why would you leave there, then sign another player, Aaron Ramsdale, and you're just... Is it Aaron Ramsdale, or am I getting mixed up with Aaron Ramsey? Ramsdale is his surname, at least. I don't understand why you would come to Manchester United, or at least leave Sheffield United. It seems strange, that, to me. Moving on. This man, Douglas Costa, is a player that has been rumoured to Manchester United as well. 30 next season. Hardly scored any goals. Hardly done much at Juventus. Could he bring experience? Yeah. Do I want to sign him? No. I think Manchester United need experience in the team. But Douglas Costa isn't one of them, mate. I'm fed up of that sort of rumour. We've been in for him so many times in the past. You never know. That might just be sort of a rehash of old reports. But I wouldn't go for Douglas Costa. I don't know what you guys think. You guys in the comments are saying, Kante news clearly fake. It's from the Mirror. They said it last summer he was going to Inter, and in January that he was off to Real Madrid. Yeah, apparently Kante has been put on the transfer list for Frank Lampard at Chelsea. I don't see us getting him. If we could get him, mate, how perfect would that would be? That would be absolutely perfect. Slot him in and out with Matic and Fred and McTominay at times. I think that'd be fantastic, but I don't think that's going to happen. Where's my favourite away tonight? She left my garden. I don't know what that's all about. No, not this Douglas Costa guy. Yeah, Costa is injury prone. Yeah, I agree with that absolutely. Costa out. Costa crap. Costa too old and expensive wages. Costa's better than Messi. I was about to say, we've hit a home run in regards to the opinions because all of you lot are thinking Costa's crap. But then someone said he's better than Messi. So you never know. Ian Ernest says, thanks for the show, Sander. Thoughts on Guendouzi? Plays in midfield and would give our squad some more fight and tenacity. But is he United quality? No. Thanks for your contribution, Ian. But no. Guendouzi? No. I'm not having... That's all that needs to be said. Just no. Moving on from Douglas Costa. Alexandro, another Juventus player. Apparently Solskjaer wants to bring him in for about £36 million for that Champions League experience. He is getting on slightly, and apparently he definitely would create some competition for that left-back role for Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. I would like to see this happen. Again, apparently the MEN reckon it's just a rehash of old reports and that we're not actually in for him. But I actually would like to see this deal happen because I think Brandon Williams, Goldbridge actually opened my eyes to this. He's very right-footed, and so he might be better on the right-hand side. I'd agree with that. He can create competition with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Alexandro comes in, gives competition for Luke Shaw. I'd like to see that happen. £36 million, not a lot of money. Will it happen? Probably not. What do you guys think? How about Buendia for sub? Sancho deal never started and never will. I'd have to disagree with that. I would have to disagree with the fact that it never has started. It absolutely has started. I trust Fabrizio Romano. I absolutely do. And listen, he said that it has started, and so I believe him. But whether it will finish in the way that Manchester United fans want it to, I'm not sure. Sander, he could go do the job for us on the left. I'm not quite sure who you're referencing there. Sandro's 29. Yeah, he's getting old, but I think, listen, we're a team full of young players, and I think Sandro would bring in that experience that I think Manchester United need at the moment. The argument is there for Douglas Costa too, but I don't think that experience in the forward areas is what we need. I think we need that experience in... I don't know, for some reason in my mind, like, forwards aren't captains or leaders, or I don't really like them to be because they innately have got to be quite selfish, and so whether they're always thinking about the team, I'm not too sure about, whereas defenders and midfielders, I like to think that they're a little bit more team-minded and a little bit more leader-orientated, so that's just maybe a misconception that I've got. We need players who can cross. is what Deepak says. Yeah, I always thought like Manchester United we should play with a lot of width, and we do play with a little bit of width at the moment. I think most of our width comes from our fullbacks, and I think maybe that's what this guy could bring in, a little bit of crossing ability and width, because I don't think at times we've seen enough quality in the crossing positions from our fullbacks, because Mason Greenwood on the right and Marcus Rashford on the left, they both like to they're a bit inverted, aren't they? They like to come in, so we need our fullbacks to really push on. So that's maybe what this guy could bring in, but when you're crossing it, who are you crossing it to? Because Anthony Martial wasn't notorious with his head, right? Don't take that the wrong way. Marcus Rashford isn't great at heading, and Mason Greenwood isn't a headerer of the ball, is he? So maybe you could square it across the floor, but I'm not sure that suits our style of play necessarily. We don't have quality in the air though. Crosses are wasted. That's exactly what I said. I mean, just look at the screen, mate. What am I witnessing here? Look at that. I can't even believe I'm talking about this. Luis Suarez to Man United. Isn't happening. It's not happening because if it does happen, I will personally go and speak to Ed Woodward. It won't happen. What am I on about? It's not going to happen. Although, the reason we are going to be talking about it today is the fact that Luis Suarez is up to leave Manchester United. Barcelona. Ronald Koeman said that he can leave if oh my God, your comments. If he wants to, which, that isn't a great sign, isn't it? If your manager's going, listen, if he wants to go, he can go. That isn't great. That isn't a sort of a statement of intent from Ronald Koeman. But basically, I was just here to ask you the question, what do you guys think? And you guys are all saying the same thing in the comments. You're clearly in the same stance as me. Luis Suarez, if there's one player, honestly, I swear to God, if there's one player that I would least like to sign in the whole world, I'd rather sign Bebe. I would rather sign Bebe back than Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez can absolutely do one. Liverpool player. Bites people. Racist. Knobhead. Do you know what I mean? If there's one person I'd like to see is just not sign, it's this fella. Great player, no doubt, but I don't want to sign him. Apparently, Ajax are back in for him, 13 point something odd million. He can just, I hate him so. It's so irritating how good he is at football as well. Do you know what I mean? He's so irritating how good he is at football. But what do you guys say? All of you guys are in the comments going, no. Let's see if I can slow this down because you guys are getting very fast. Bites people, yeah. I will sack Suarez. Call Stephen and a prat, please, Sanders. Stephen, you're a prat. Yeah, I mean, all of you guys are in the comments laughing and talking about Suarez. Listen, I did not think that you guys would be pro Suarez, but, I thought I'd ask the question anyway. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed today. I'll take some of your super chats. We can chat a little bit, do a little bit of a Q&A. Get ready for Tierney, our Scottish Roberto Carlos. He said Robert Carlos, but it's not. It's Roberto. That's Zane, of course, Zane, Arsenal fan. Sure, mate. Of course. Kieran Tierney, he's going to win you the league, mate. Him and Willian, do you know what I mean? Fantastic. Sarvesh says, again, thank you for your contribution. Zane, by the way, thank you for your contribution. We really do appreciate it. Again, as I keep saying, I hope you can take the banter, because it is all that, just banter. Hi, Sander. Great, although Willian he is awful, but, and so is Tierney. No, he's not. Willian is, though. He says, hi, Sander. Great improvement. You are killing it. What should be our priority after Sancho? A left-legged centre-back, a left-back, or a cam, i.e. central attacking midfielder? Centre-back. You've not said it there, I don't think, but I think centre-backs are next biggest issue. If I had to rank priority, I'd say get Sancho in, then you'd go centre-back, central defensive midfielder, left-back, and then you're all right. Because I think creatively going forward, if Bruno does go and get injured or has a really poor run of form, you can put Pogba there and then bring in Matic for that central defensive midfielder position. Do you know what I mean? Matic and Fred or something like that. Whereas I think if Victor Lindelof gets injured, I don't think Victor Lindelof's good anyway, as it is. But if he does get injured, you've got Eric Bailly, who will no doubt will be injured by that time as well. So we absolutely need an improvement to go next to Harry Maguire. Oscar Wood says, goalkeeper, it's all about confidence. No one rotates goalkeepers. I don't think that's true. No, you are right in the sense that goalkeeping is all about confidence. And I think that's why, David De Gea's not a bad player. Of course he's not. He's been one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's not past it age-wise. He's absolutely still in his prime. it's just confidence. His confidence has been absolutely shot. And so that's not in question, his ability. But I think that competition for places is needed because Sergio Romero just doesn't do that at the moment. Goldbridge is going to be back tomorrow, by the way. By the way, Drawty's messaging me. Thanks, Drawty. I'm going back to the title of the show. He's giving me a few pointers. Goldbridge is going to be back tomorrow, by the way. Don't worry, I've not taken over the United stand yet. Do you know? No, I'm joking. He will be back tomorrow, and so don't worry. I know you're getting a bit of withdrawals, itching yourself, and I'm not going to do Goldbridge isn't here. Do you know what I mean? I get it. I've been the same in the past, but I'm here for the moment, so, enjoy it. But yes, transfer headache for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Sanchez is gone. That's the only player that's left, right? We need to get Smalling out the door. Diogo Dalot. Phil Jones out the door. I don't know who. I'm sure there's other players as well that need to leave, but those players in particular need to. Andreas Pereira, Jesse Lingard. These are all players that need to go. None of them have gone, other than Alexis Sanchez. So that's not good. Oh, who are we going to bring into the club? Let's talk about signings. We haven't signed Jadon Sancho. We haven't signed Gabriel, although Di Marzio has come out today saying that we have put in a bid for him. We haven't signed a central defensive midfielder. We haven't signed a left back. And I haven't signed a central attacking midfielder. We haven't signed anyone. Stefanovic, but he's back on loan. So it's not looking good for Manchester United at the moment. And so, that could be... I'm not even joking. You know what I'm like. I like to joke a lot. But the fact that we haven't signed anyone yet, with 4 weeks, guys, 4 weeks before we start playing, 4 weeks. We need to make deals happen soon. Anything beyond 2 weeks and we've still not signed a player, I'll be really worried then. I will be really worried. Kinky Jujubee. I bet he is. Jujubee, he's kinky. He's contributing. He said Zayn needs to be a therapist. Needs to see a therapist. I love the energy. Sanders, keep it up. By the way, is Goldbridge drunk? No comment. If I speak, I'm in trouble. I don't know, he might be, he might not be. He might just have his feet up, be watching, catching up on Peaky Blinders. I don't know. And Zayn, we love him. We love Zayn here. He's an avid viewer. We love him. Unfortunately, he thinks Willian will be the man to lift them the title. I don't know. So that's Arsenal fans for you. Folasoil says you're so weird. Oh yeah, absolutely. Me weird. Yeah, yes, I am weird. Absolutely. Sign Roberto from Barca. New Ander. I presume that's Ander Herrera. Meh. Do you know what I mean? Meh. Not for me. David Alaba is a great asset. Yes. Get well soon, Goldbridge. Has anyone ever seen the Glazers kick a football? You don't need to be a good footballer to be a football owner. I, in fact, think that very few good footballers are football owners. However, their lack of knowledge on football is, or at least the lack of knowledge that I interpret them to have, is worrying, isn't it? Sander, you are cool. Yeah, cool, but I'm weird as well. Absolutely, I'm weird. Sander, if we don't sign any players this season, what's going to happen to Ole? Good question. I'll answer it before we head off. What do I think will happen to Ole if we don't sign anyone? I think he's really going to be in trouble at that point, to be honest, because going into next season, we just scraped top 4. There's no doubt in that. We scraped top 4. Listen, we've had a lot of injuries, but name me a season that Manchester United have had no injuries. Of course, you always have injuries every single season. Now it's unlikely that Rashford, Martial, and Pogba, your 3 best players, basically, all get injured for months on end. That's unlikely to happen again, but it can happen. And even if it doesn't, you will get niggles here and there. So you, first of all, need to reinforce. But second of all, you need to improve on what we've already got, because let's say we do go and get third in semi-finals of every competition again. That's not good enough. Of course it isn't. I'm not saying we need to go and win the league next season or even become second, but at least a significant improvement in points. And also, we'd like to see some trophies next season. I think next season, trophies for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is absolutely crucial. And in order to do that, he needs signings. Do you know what I mean? Dave says, Gabriel's better than Lindelof and Slabhead. Is he? I'll be honest with you. Not seen him play. I will be dead. I'm not an avid Lille watcher. All I'm going off is what other people have said and some of his stats. His stats are good. People have said he's good. So I'll interpret the fact that he's good. But do we know that for a fact? No, we don't know that for a fact because you've not seen Lille play week in, week out. But he might be good. You might be fantastic. You never know. Hopefully, if we do get him, it shows that Solskjaer trusts him and thinks he's going to be a good player and an asset to Manchester United, in which case, Gabriel, welcome. Alec Williams says, just started a book called The Anatomy of Manchester United. It's a good read so far. Thanks, Alec. I won't read that because I don't really read too much, but thank you for your contribution. And if any of you there are avid readers, then watch that Anatomy of Manchester United. Zane, bloody hell, he can't stop, can he? We are swapping Sideshow Bob for the Leon midfielder, is what Zane says. I hope that's not my cock smells, Scrim. But, you know, Guendouzi, I got asked about Guendouzi earlier, and I just think, again, such a meh player. You're never going to get anywhere with Guendouzi. You really aren't. You're just not, are you? Anyway, thanks all for joining me tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. You know what, I'm like, I ramble on a little bit, so I do apologise if I've gone off topic. But just to summarise, Gabriel Damarcio has said that we've made a bid for him today. Where the bloody hell is... Here he is. We said that we made a bid for him today. Brooks, 40 million apparently is the price that you're going to have to pay for him. If we don't get Sancho, do I want Brooks to be his alternative? Absolutely not. He's been injured all season, and he's just not what we need at the moment, is it, quality-wise? So I wouldn't go with that. Dean Henderson potentially signed a new contract. He's back at Manchester United. Villa are potentially in for him. And so that's interesting because, as I said earlier, if you're going to stay on loan, stay at Sheffield United, which makes me think he's going to stay at Manchester United this season, which also makes me think that if De Gea, fumbles a ball a couple of times and starts to make a few more mistakes than he did last season, Dean Henderson's going to be straight in, which is exciting. Douglas Costa, apparently we're in for him. Let's move on. Let's move on. We don't want Douglas Costa. Alexandro, that's a deal I'd like to happen. 36 odd million pounds apparently you need to get him. Whether it will happen, probably not. The MEN reckon that it's sort of rehash of old stories, which I probably agree with. But I'd like to see it come in. Champions League experience, good player, creates competition. And to end the note, this man, Tossa. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Goldbridge is back tomorrow, so you can all get that Goldbridge feeling back. I'll be watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Oh, I've got to read these contributions out. I feel like this lack of Sancho deal is just a ploy, so we don't sign anyone else. At the end, the fans will praise the Glazers for getting Sancho over the line. That's from Red Baron. I don't think Glazers can pull the wool over Manchester United fans' eyes. I think we're too intelligent, and that's not arrogant. Fans intelligent, and we've seen it time and time again. Yeah. Man United list says, I would sign Suarez for Evra to mess him up. What, get Evra back and get Suarez back and just sort of head-to-head. Do you know what I mean? Everyone stand on the sideline and watch them go at it. Fair enough. And then finally, Yakin says, I think we should go for Declan Rice. What do you think about him? Interesting one on Declan Rice. I'm sure Mark Goldbridge will get into it in future episodes. I think good player. Want to see more of him. I don't think he's as good as everyone rates him. But you never know. Those could be famous last words, and we could go on to sign him, and he could be fantastic. But there's nothing come out so far about Declan Rice. So if I had to say whether we're going to sign him or not, I'd say no. Should we sign him? We need someone in that position. He's young. He's English or Irish. So it could work, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Thanks all guys for watching. Like the video. I appreciate all your contributions and support for today. And